So, another day on the Costa Rican homestead. We got little water leaks. Um, these Tico houses have all plastic. Well, I think it's PVC. I might be incorrect there, but it's plastic, some kind of water lines. This is our main line running into the house. This runs from out on the street. There's a water meter out here that every house has. When you come along the streets here in Costa Rica, you'll see the water meters. I'll show you what it looks like. So there's our meter. We have one line that's running down into the house, which is one you can see back there, right off the meter itself. The second line is because we have two pieces of property, so that's water for the second plantation part of the property, which we'll be using when we build casitas. So that's what the meters look like. You pretty much have to have those when you buy property here, that and a power source. So, which our electricity is a different story. Our meter is at the neighbor's house for some reason, so we need to get that taken care of. We have a post, but no meter. So anyway, so yes, so we had a little water leak. What dummy here did to start with, this here plastic bucket was sticking up out of the ground. Just the top lip of it was sticking up out of the ground back here. And so what dummy did was decided to find out what this plastic bucket in the ground was for. It was full of pieces of broken concrete, some of which are there. That's from me cleaning up the yard, but some of which are there. The bucket, this is a couple days ago. The bucket was here in this corner. Okay, full of concrete and broken glass. So you tell me why somebody would put that. There was a water line there, obviously, which you can see, that at that point in time had a valve and a T and was running this line also, which goes kind of nowhere. Back at the property. No idea. So, old bright boy here gets a shovel in there, breaks the water line, and then has to dig this bucket out with the broken glass and a concrete, and finds this T with the mystery line leading back, having no clue this one that's going this way is leading to the house, to the washroom, the shower. It's all cold water lines. There is no hot water in the house yet. And then there's the mystery line. So I had to go to the neighbors and ask them, do you have water? Because I have a line and I have no idea where it goes. And they were nice enough to come over. Ken's wife next door, Kenneth, and I'm not sure if he's related because he was the next door neighbor and he actually worked for the water place. So I got thinking about it, and I kind of think that this line here runs to a spigot, which is down the property way down back in there. Apparently over our property line according to the neighbor over there, but we haven't had a survey done yet. So I'm thinking that if we'd have left it anyway and somebody would want to use it if they built next door, they'd have been running on our water. Our last water bill was $6, I think. So, so in the meantime, I fixed this one, and I just ignored this line because it's going nowhere, or at least not going to something that's being used. So I fixed this one up. It's good. It's not leaking, which for me is a miracle. Believe me, if it involves water and I fix it, it leaks. So then I discover that this setup here that I've just worked on today, entering the house, and feeding a line that goes over here to the laundry tub kind of thing that's out here, and the tap I have my hose hooked to. It's feeding it, and of course they use two different size lines. They go from 12 mil to, I guess that's 10 mil. I don't know, 3/8, whatever it happens to be. Everything's in metric here. Well, it is in Canada too. I'm just old. So this is what was here leaking. Now I know you look at these fittings, it's hard to imagine that they were leaking. They're very professionally installed. So it was just a drip. So I did the best I could to try and seal it back up again, and of course it still leaked. Just a drip, drip, drip. and that was leaking. The kitchen sink, which you can kind of see in there, it's a plastic. The whole tap is plastic. It's leaking a bit, but it's just kind of seeping. And then when I hook this all back up again, this here, which is like the sink, had a tap. Where did I put it? Anyway, it had a fixture with a towel. Here it is here, I believe. The one line coming up with a tap on it. I don't know where it is, but anyway, it's around here somewhere. So I'm just going to eliminate it and put a valve on this, and just saves me having to mess around with all of this, because my hose works just fine over in these laundry tubs. As a matter of fact, it does a great job because it's got all the settings. Oh, there's my tap there. This was actually on here. As such, professionally installed with the wire that you tie to the piece of wood that you nail to a post, which is right beside the tire rim that you use for your hose. Which actually works really good, the rim. So these lines you can see here, gray water just drains out here. So we do not use any toxic soaps or anything like that. A little bit of dish soap for the dishes, that's it. That's just how it is here. When we get the addition put onto the house, we will get that fixed up where those are draining where they're supposed to be. This is our septic system right here. The big concrete thing with the million tools that I needed to do the job. Someone who knew what they were doing might need 5 or 6. So my little problem was where this comes out of the wall, I cannot access it. So there was a coupling there, and this T was right there, and so between it and that was about that much space, not even a quarter of an inch. So I cut it off, left what I could, and slid that with glue and put that 45 on there. So that, I'm praying to God, seals. I'm going to let this cure. We got a couple buckets of water. I'm going to try and let this cure as long as possible, hopefully maybe even overnight, because we got really high water pressure. It's crazy how much pressure we have here. I think maybe because the water runs from up in the mountains. But so that, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, at 45, at that point right there, holds. Like I said to Trace, I said if I just get a constant drip, I'm no worse off than I was before. I managed to redo all this, because then it turned out that this was leaking at this point here down to that elbow. And when I come out today, there was like a pinhole pissing out constantly, like a jet of water. So, and then every time you move something with this old line, of course with it being plastic, it's brittle, so it breaks and it leaks. So I tried to be as gentle as possible. The only job I have left, other than letting it dry and seeing how bad it leaks, is gonna put this valve on this end. And I really did this just kind of avoid having to mess around with this too much. I don't have any fittings in this smaller line to tap it off here, or I would. The only tap I'm using here, which seems to work fine, doesn't leak, is this one that's attached to my hose. So there you go. I have next to no idea what I'm doing with most of this stuff. So we'll see how she goes. At least it is all plastic, and I can try and deal with it. If it had been copper with soldering, I don't know if I'd have been so good or not. But anyway, we'll let it dry, and I'll report back and let y'all know how my 45-degree elbow. I don't want to talk about it too much because I might jinx it. So anyway, she's a beautiful day. Here's all the garbage I've collected off the property so far. I have, I think, 5 piles. Just trying to get rid of debris because it was a farm, and this debris just is all compostable, so it would have composted down, but this stuff takes a lot longer than I want to look at it to break down. So I'm working away. I got some guys going to be coming. I'm hoping I can be done end of this coming week. Another big pile over there. And she's a beautiful November day. Beautiful blue skies. And we'll see how we make out. Pura vida.